جاهز أبو عمر؟ جاهز أخي أيمن؟ السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر
الله أكبر الله أكبر
الله أكبر الله أكبر
الله أكبر.
أشهد أن لا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده سبحانه ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اقسم لنا من خشيتك ما تحول به بيننا وبين معصيتك، ومن طاعتك ما تبلغنا به جنتك، ومن اليقين ما تهون به علينا مصائب الدنيا. ومتعنا اللهم بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا ما أحييتنا، واجعله الوارث منا، واجعل ثأرنا على من ظلمنا، وانصرنا اللهم على من عادانا، ولا تجعل مصيبتنا في ديننا، ولا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا ولا مبلغ علمنا، ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك ولا يرحمنا يا رب العالمين. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم إن زلزلة الساعة شيء عظيم، يوم ترونها تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت، وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها، وترى الناس سكارى وما هم بسكارى ولكن عذاب الله شديد. وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وعنا معهم إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, we do bear witness that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is His messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Surely Allah does not break His promise. This is the title of my khutbah. Inna Allah la yukhlifu al-mi'at. But we need to be patient. We need sabr. We need patience. Plus, patience will not happen unless if we understand how Allah rules and operates His universe. He is the creator, He is the designer, and He is the one who decided what, when, how to lay down the laws of controlling, of managing this existence. So, when we have more knowledge, we will be able to understand why this is happening and how it will keep happening, when it could stop, why it might not stop, understanding. So our title today is Inna Allah la yukhlifu al-mi'ad. Surely Allah does not break His promise. Why? I decided to let this title be the title of my khutbah. Surely I'm responding to a question that might be playing in the mind of tens of millions of Muslims, which is, I'm rephrasing the core point of the question, which could be, Ya Sheikh, how many times Allah promises that He will punish the oppressors? Tens of times. How many times Allah declared the war against the zalim, the oppressor? Tens of times. In the Quran I'm talking. طيب, where is it? We can't see it. We don't witness it. So, I was giving a seerah session a few days ago, and sometimes, subhanAllah, the barakah of the ilm, sometimes while teaching a tafsir or the seerah or the fiqh, or sometimes maybe responding to a family conflict or a marriage dispute, some ideas, might come to your mind that help. In response to this question, why Allah is not fulfilling His promise, which is punishing the oppressor? Very simple question, which any Muslim could ask, might have already asked, but not necessarily everyone knows the answer. So let's please and pause. Whatever Allah make it easy for us to have a mutual knowledge together, please spread it. Don't keep it with you. So when we answer a possible doubt against your faith, if you understood it, if you grasp it, please spread it. Either you yourself keep talking about it, or rewrite it, rephrase it, or share the video. So let's spread the knowledge. Surely Allah does not break His promise, but we need to be patient. This is the question, this is the doubt. Let me answer this question in my way. Let's go in the history, which I was just a few days ago explaining, to talk about the Battle of Badr. I will be quoting something you already know. All of you, I'm assuming 99% of you, the information that I will be quoting now, you know it. But let's be patient for a few minutes to know where is the citing points, why I'm quoting this incident. The incident of the death and the end of فرعون هذه الأمة, Abu Jahl. Abu Jahl is not any person in our history. Abu Jahl is, if not, it is the biggest symbolic representatives of evil for us. Because Prophet Muhammad gave him a title. What is it? فرعون هذه الأمة. You just try to imagine arrogance, oppression, lying, hatred, envy, everything is embodied in Abu Jahl. That's why. And by the way, he was not an easy person. To a degree, his characteristics was so powerful to a degree. Prophet Muhammad, as a human being without receiving a revelation, was asking Allah to give victory for Islam by one of two of the, by then they were kuffar, Umar ibn Khattab and Amr ibn Hisham, Abu Jahl, which is Amr ibn Hisham. This is his original name, Amr ibn Hisham, Abu Hakam. His title is, by the way, for your information, Abu Jahl, Amr ibn Hisham, Umar ibn Khattab, Al-Faruq, Khalid ibn Walid, Sayfullah al-Maslul, three of them, there is a relation in blood. Three of them, they were physically giants. More or less in our measurements, about 2 meters. Three of them, nearly everyone, once sees them, he feels this kind of fear and scared without doing anything. Three of them. Subhanallah. Two of them, they decided to be in the side of Allah. One of them, he decided to fight not Muhammad, Allah. That's why he Fir'aun هذه الأمة. But what's the relation between my title? إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد. Abu Jahl, we know that his end was in the Battle of Badr. But let's go a little bit deep in intellectual philosophy. Let's go back with the time machine and ask the following question. Abu Jahl kept applying his highest level of anger, hatred, oppression with full physical power whenever, however, nothing stopped him. 13 years of Makkah, plus 2 years of prior to Badr. So, the whole age of Islam, while Prophet Muhammad existed, 23 years. 15 of them, even though Prophet Muhammad was directly connected with Allah. 15 out of 23, you are talking about more or less 70% of the time. This dictator was using his physical power against Muslims. Yet he was not punished. This is the question. So try to imagine yourself in the place of one of the oppressed Sahaba at that time. 15 years. The question, Ya Rasulullah, where is Allah? No one asks this question because they know the system. It's not your or my decision when Allah decides to finish, to demolish an oppressor. It's not your decision, not mine. It's Allah's decision. But let's understand part. But wow, 15 years, yes. But last time, if you were with me, we talked about وَيُضِلُّ اللَّهُ الظَّالِمِينَ. When someone refuses, Allah pulls him to the final destination. When Allah willed, look, let's go back to know simple information of the pre-events of Badr. You know the whole idea of Badr. Muslims, they were oppressed, tortured, kicked out of their homeland, i.e. Mecca. Now they know about the two caravans, financial, economic, let's say roots of Mecca, which contains money. So they wanted to stop the caravan to return back simple, humble returns of what they have already lost. While they were approaching Abu Sufyan knew through his spies that they were planning to, because at that time they used to have munafiqeen, spies. They send messages. They leave the Medina to tell them that, be careful. Exactly. So alhamdulillah, the same thing, always. Always among us we have munafiqeen. Alhamdulillah, الذي لا يحمد على مكروه سواه. It's part of the test. Okay? Praying with us. Yes? Like now we are sitting. Don't you think that we have informants now? For Arab security agencies? Don't you think? But the beautiful thing is what? I insult him always and they can't speak because I have the haqq and they are on the batil. They are down. I'm now talking about them. That they are filthy, dirty people, have sold their souls for the shaitan. just to have some gainings. And they write wrong reports. But they are praying with us without wudu طبعا. Definitely without wudu. By the way, I'm just giving you an example how powerful the haqq is. Why do you think I'm acquiring this? Because I have the haqq. There's nothing to hide. Because they are liars, they are munafiqeen. The same thing the Sahaba used to have, by the way. So they sent to Abu Sufyan a message. El-Haq, they will stop you. Abu Sufyan took the initiative immediately. He changed his route. He escaped. Look now. Now, before Abu Sufyan managed to escape, people of Mecca, they knew that Muslims, they will attack their economic, caravan. They prepared an army of 1,000 fighters, fully equipped. Try to imagine now. Let's think in our human calculations. 1,000 fighter, 1,000 horse. Every person is fully equipped with his shields, metal helmets, arrows, spears, swords. Compared with poor Muslims, 313. 2 horses. 2 horses. The rest, walking. What was their sword? What was their weapons? A sword. Many of them, they were barefoot. No shields, no helmets, hardly a spear or a sword. So in military calculations, as if 1 to 100. Because at that time, not talking in this time, in this time, as they said, someone said once when they created or manufactured the machine gun, they say now it's equal between the coward and the brave, because any coward can kill any brave. At that time, a coward cannot hold a sword. However, a man with a horse, fully equipped, fully protected, can kill 15 people in minutes if they have nothing to defend themselves. Anyway, my point, I need you to imagine, just to put yourself in a possible imagination of that context. So Abu Jahl prepared 1,000 fighters to stop Muslims. They started approaching Muslims. In the middle of the way, they received another message that Abu Sufyan is saved. So, save your time. Finish it. Return back. Here comes the law of Allah that I and you need to know it. Allah decided to roast them, to demolish them. Allah decided to smash them. So Abu Jahl said, La wallah, look now, this is what I need, the core point. Abu Jahl, it's narrated that he said, La wallah. Okay, why to lose your time and energy and power? Khalas, you are saved. The arrogance. The arrogance of Iblis. Here comes the misguidance of Allah now. To see the end result. Abu Jahl, he said, literally, I'm quoting, I will say it in Arabic and in English so that Arabs will enjoy the spirit of the meaning. For non-Arabs, you might enjoy the spirit of the meaning because the connotations of the language has its power. قال لا والله حتى نأتي ماء بدر فنشرب الخمر وتغني لنا القيان وتسمع بنا العرب. He said, no. By Allah, we will not return back till we reach the area of the well of Badr. And we drink alcohol, we celebrate. And our slave girls will sing for us. It's a full celebration party. Till every one of Arabs in the Arabic Peninsula hears about us, our might, our power. He went there, Mr. Abu Jahl. He does not know that the angel of death is waiting by the will of Allah. Now, the funny part of the story from a human perspective. Who started finishing this giant? 2 young boys. They don't know him, to humiliate him. By the way, Abu Jahl was not killed by any known person. According to the Sahih Hadith, look how Allah is planning. Abu Jahl, the giant, the representative of might and power of the Arabic Peninsula, went there just to see how powerful he is, and I will show you. Okay, تفضل يلا. Like Umar ibn al-Khattab, when they told him, Italians will keep bombing you, he said, they're air fighters, they are below the arsh or above the arsh. He said they are flying below the arsh. He said, we believe in God who's above the arsh. Go away. Because they used to have cowards in Italy. They have to have the same thing, khawan, traitors, the same thing, always. In Libya, in Egypt, in the French occupation, in France, the same always. You have the category of the people, mu'minin, kafirin, munafiqin, always, by decision. Let's come back to Mr. Abu Jahl. He decided to go there. Now, one of the Sahaba is narrating, he said, while approaching the beginning of the battle, I was called by a young man. Young man, you talk about 14 years, 15 years. Hardly he's a mature person. Hardly he's an adult. He said, Ya Ammah, Ya Ammah. Aina Abu Jahl? He's from the Ansar, from the helpers of the Medina. He does not know Abu Jahl. قال يا ابن أخي, the Sahabi, he's from the Muhajirin. He said, يا ابن أخي وما تريد من أبي جهل؟ قال سمعت أنه كان يؤذي رسول الله. Look to the faith and education. Idea cannot be killed. Faith cannot be demolished. You kill a person, but you don't kill an idea. How about a faith? Full established faith. Now, 15 years old, and the Islam started in the Medina just 2 years. So, a young two men, they understand their mission, and they know who is with them and who is against them. Said, يا عماه, أين أبو جهل? قال, وما تريد من أبي جهل يا ابن أخي? What do you want from Abu Jahl? He said, I heard that he was hurting Rasulullah. He said, I just was about to point to him, because they don't know his appearance. No photos, no social media, no media. If not a trustworthy source of information tells you that this is the person or he himself, you will not be able to know him. So he said, about immediately another young man came to me, قال يا عماه, where is Abu Jahl? What do you mean for Abu Jahl? He said, I heard that he was hurting. Their names Mu'adh wa Mu'awwadh, two young men. قال فبادراه, they initiated attacking him at the beginning of the battle. Each one of them, he hit Abu Jahl with his best, but still young men. Abu Jahl is a giant. So they thought they killed him, but they managed to drop him. He fall down from his horse on the ground up to the end of the battle. So by the way, no fighter fought Abu Jahl. Allah wanted to humiliate him. Just the two unknown young men started finishing him. Who finished the job and the mission was completely accomplished? Abdullah bin Mas'ud. When they were just checking the dead bodies before the battle is finished, he was looking, and Abdullah bin Mas'ud can be described as the youngest size and petite person of the Sahaba. He's not a giant. Normally he was not known as a fighter, he's a alim, but a very small sized petite person. And Abu Jahl, once, he just holded him at the time of Mecca, the first 2-3 years. He just hold him like this. He wanted to recite the Quran, at that time the secret da'wah. Abu Abdullah Mas'ud was very enthusiastic. He wanted to recite the Quran. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ don't do it. He said, Ya Rasulullah, to do. He was not able to control him. He went to the Kaaba and started reciting the Quran. Abu Jahl, he was so arrogant and so powerful to a degree, he just hold Abdullah Mas'ud from his hand, and he just, hold him like this. He cut off his ear. He was able to hold all of his body with his hand from his ear, and it was cut. He went to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ crying with his ear cut. Abu Jahl was the comparison between, it's amazing. The one who finished Abu Jahl was this person, radiyallahu anhu, Abdullah bin Mas'ud. This is a message. There is a message from faith point of view. And he finished. My point now, إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد. Allah does not break His promise. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells that He will punish the oppressors, He will. Your job and my job to believe in that and to do our best to do our job. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما آتاها. Do your best, whatever you can't. And we have the example which is much more bigger in that, and let me just share part of it with you, which is Fir'aun. Fir'aun himself. For how many years he kept doing? Allah knows, years. How many believers from the children of Israel at that time was asking this question? Where is Allah? Why Allah is not punishing Fir'aun? When Allah decided to punish Fir'aun, Allah did not take the soul of Pharaoh while he was in his bed at night. Allah pulled Fir'aun with his arrogance in full to the mid of the sea. And let's pause on this ayah. وَاتْرُكِ الْبَحْرَ رَهْوًا. There is an amazing lesson in this. Amazing, amazing. Now, when the children of Israel escaped, we need to imagine this. Sea split into two pieces like a giant big mountains. Can you imagine that? You are in the bottom of the sea walking. So according to the Torah narrations, which we can't say it's a definite number, but this is the only historical source, they claim that their numbers, the adults of them, they were 700,000. This is in their book, apart from the children. So according to them, they are around 1 million. Just having a piece of cloth. 1 million barefoot to leave the sea walking, they need maybe 2 or 3 or 4 hours. So what about the army of Pharaoh, which could be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands? We don't know the number. Look now, what's the meaning of rahwa? When Musa alayhi salam escaped and finished, he wanted to command the sea again so that close down and they prevent them from escaping. Allah commanded him, قال وَاتْرُكِ الْبَحْرَ رَهْوًا. Leave the sea quiet and split as is. It's not your problem, ya Musa, when it should be closed. Continue, leave the rest. You don't know Allah's plan. The big number of the army of Fir'aun was so huge that when Musa decided to close it, still number of the oppressors have not gotten into the trap yet. Not all of them. Allah wants to finish them. So still they are entering. Musa, continue. When they are all inside, Allah commanded the sea. Boom. Can you imagine this? By the way, some of us, because it's water. You know the weight of the water. Just to imagine what happened to this army. When you speak about, we don't know the distance. 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers with 200, 300, 400 multiplied by. So the weight of the size of the water logically will be equal to trillions of tons, not billions. Because you are talking about mountains of water. To imagine what happened to their army, imagine the following. Imagine you have the power now to send 1 billion rockets. Each one of them is 1 ton to a city. What will happen with it? 1 billion rock. Each rock is just 1 ton. What will happen? It's more efficient and destructive than at least 100 nuclear bomb in our measurements. This is what happened to the army. This is how we understand it. Because when you command a sea with trillions of tons just to boom like this, full. بَغْتَ وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. The law of Allah says, when they deserve it, You do your best not to break the ties with Allah. Once you've done it, continue. طب يا Allah, what about them? Don't interfere in Allah's business. Allah is collecting them, gathering them, so that when the hit comes, Allah wants to show His power. الجبار سبحانه. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. استغفر الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده سبحانه ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. Subhanallah, sometimes I receive something that might be similar to divine messages to me. When I'm preparing for the khutbah, I was just thinking to consider this concept out of a by the will of Allah. This following post for Sheikh Abdul Aziz Al-Tarifi came in my face, that I will quote to you now. Abdul Aziz Al-Tarifi, may Allah release him with all honest and genuine scholars from the oppressors. May Allah punish them. Abdul Aziz Al-Tarifi, I will say his word in Arabic, then I will give you the English. He says, سقوط الدول الظالمة يكون فجأة وغير متوقع. قال وإذا رأيت الناس استبعدوا سقوط الظالم حاليا فاعلم أن هذا هو وقت سقوطه المناسب. وفنش قال mixed of Arabic and English. وفنش وأنهى كلامه بقوله بغتة وهم لا يشعرون. Abdul Aziz Tarifi says, and I finish by this, قال the fall of oppressing countries will be sudden and unexpected. And if you see people excluding the possibility of the fall of the oppressor now, know that this is the appropriate time for his fall. Then he quoted part of the ayah that Allah destroys the ظالمين بغتة وهم لا يشعرون, which means Allah will finish them, will destroy them suddenly while they are not aware. This is the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your job is to be a true Muslim, to speak the haqq, to be proud of your identity, do your best to support the haqq as much as you can from the status that Allah granted you, and what you cannot control, what you cannot reach is not your problem. And don't keep asking myself, let's not keep saying why Allah is not doing so and so. When Allah, that's why we do a video that Allah al-Hakim. Why I'm quoting the story of Abu Jahl. 15 years. This question might have been asked by maybe tens of the Sahaba. When the time came, say, La ilaha. The humiliation of finishing Abu Jahl. I wish if I can make it a movie, 3D movie, with all the emotions and the sound effects of it. Wow. I wish if I have the means to send it, because it's a divine piece of art. La ilaha illallah. That's why we need to believe in what we call Asma Allah al-Husna. Allah al-Qawi, the most powerful, but He's al-Hakim as well, the all-wise. He decides what should be done in the time as He knows, ultimate knowledge, not you and me. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يرحمنا برحمته وأن يغفر لنا ويتجاوز عنا. اللهم ارحم شهداءهم وداوي جرحاهم واشف مرضاهم وتجاوز عنهم وانتقم من الخونة من بيننا يا رب العالمين. اللهم كن مع هؤلاء المستضعفين جميعا مشارق الأرض ومغاربها ولا تكن عليهم وعلينا يا رب العالمين. واغفر لنا تقصيرنا في أمرنا كله يا رب العالمين. اللهم ارحمنا فوق الأرض وتحت الأرض ويوم العرض عليك يا كريم. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر.